What's up, everybody? It's Orange Bloods Live. It's game week of that little thing called Texas, Ohio State. I'm Jeff. He's Chad. We're going to be with you for a little while. So settle in, strap in, hit that thumbs up button, jump into the specs chat, send us some messages, let us know what's on your mind. We're talking about Steve Sarkisian's press conference, which just ended. We've got reaction to that. No, he didn't. No, he really didn't. There wasn't a lot today, Chad. It was like a big aha, he did that kind of moment. But I was really fascinated by the press conference in that Steve Sarkisian doesn't look like a head coach whose team is ranked number one in the country and feeling stress about going on the road and playing the defending national champion.
No, it doesn't seem like a lot of it. Here's one, the no, he didn't. No, he didn't really go into a lot of injuries. CJ Horn wanted him to. They only asked about Gooseby. It's true. Only Gooseby was really discussed. And I guess Mosley, right?
Mosley towards the end. And I think, I think all of the – well, look, they really haven't had any injuries. I mean, we talked about it at the end of camp on Saturday, Chad, that at some point camp's over so we can finally say it out loud. If anybody gets hurt from here on out, okay. But one of the things you say going into all camps is what's one of the big missions? You can't do like a top 5 or a top 3 where one of the missions isn't survive.
Health.
Texas will have gotten through the camp and they will have lost Andre Kojo, either their number 3 or number 4 offensive tackle. And that's kind of it. And then Emmett Mosley is a guy that might have, I think, competed with Parker Livingstone for starting an outside wide receiver job. Livingstone's had a really good camp. Mosley's been nursing a hamstring. But other than that, it's a pretty damn healthy team going to Columbus on Saturday. And Trevor Gooseby, oh, by the way, Sark kind of dismissive of, he didn't really get into it. Is Gooseby going to play? Yep.
He's good. By the way, Catch, I'll admit I missed the detail on Mosley. What was the official comment on Mosley?
Just that he's been super limited.
Okay.
He kind of like, we've had guys, whether it be Matthew Golden or even a Trey Moore, I think he falls in the line with a guy that they think later in the season will materialize once he gets healthy. But he hasn't been healthy, and so just really isn't a factor right now.
Gotcha. What else jumped out to you about Sark? He definitely, here's real quick chat. Somebody says that red zone answer. He was ready for a red zone question, Catch. He was raring and ready to go.
I mean, for those that missed it, and most of you will not have seen the press conference.
Right.
Sark had, I mean, look, we've all been there before where we think the thing that you know what he did? He gave us a too soon joke. And they're talking about the red zone. And I don't even remember who asked the question, but he was like, hey, do you guys want to hear a stat?
Do you want a really good stat? I perked up. You know me. I love a good stat. I was like, yes, Sark. Hallelujah. Let's go.
The thing is, when you're watching, you couldn't get a sense of how the room reacted, but it was very much, it felt like a dry response. I don't feel like he got the, come on, baby, give it to us. I think he wanted that.
No. I wish I'd have been there because I would have been like, yes, I'd have been in the back. Preach, Sark, preach.
It's like, just so you guys know, 2 years ago, we were 50% touchdowns in the red zone. And last year, we were 64%. So we did make improvement for those of you out there that writing about such things. And it just felt like
the gleam in his eye. And then the next guy to ask a question was Bob Ballou from CBS Austin. And he could barely get his question out because Sark was still smiling at him. How'd you like that? Huh? Did you like that?
Look, man, let me tell you what. I delivered the Mississippi tweet back in the day, kind of with the same delivery. It was very much huh? You guys, don't you get it? I'm making fun of the racism in the 60s and the racism. No.
Let's be honest. Catch, have you ever heard a coach
that was
You ever heard a coach more quickly want to tell you that he only scored touchdowns half the time in the red zone 2 years ago? Like, what coach is rushing to that stat? Hey, just so you know, a couple years ago, 1 out of 2. That's all we did in the whoa, huh?
You guys thought last year was bad, but last year was actually much better than the really crappy year the year before that. It's
Guys,
like, Sark,
2 years ago, we're 5 out of 10.
Look, I wasn't even going to bring that up, Tyler.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't
Tyler.
going to bring that up, but since you did.
Okay, there you go.
Look, I just want everybody to know my head's in like 5 different places, and that was not one of them. I had forgotten about that.
Okay, you go where you need to go then, because that was probably just me being silly. What sticks out to you?
Well, Sark seems, I think, let's just start here. I thought Sark was incredibly comfortable. He's almost philosophical about this game. He doesn't think that it's going to do anything to hurt the loser. I actually have a huge takeaway, but give me a second. I have maybe a huge overreaction that I should have, I wish I'd had for the Monday overreactions.
Okay.
But he talked about, look, and I'm going to circle back to this in just a second, but that this week they're focused on details. This week they're focused on really that. That was the main area that he talked about. And then later on, he kind of talked about minimizing mistakes. I thought it was really interesting, and I can't remember who asked the question, but it was somebody asked it, and I wanted it to be asked. He answered the offensive line question, and when somebody asked, it might have been Chip, who are your top backup options, tackle, guard, whatever, however you want to say it. Because last week, Sark said he didn't think, he's like, nobody ever has 10, but what you want to have is 8. But then he didn't really elaborate whether or not he thought he had 8 or who the hell the 8 would be if he had 8. Today, he said, in addition to the 5 starters they have, that he thinks Connor Stroh at guard. And he said Stroh first in a way that made me think Connor Stroh is their 6th offensive lineman.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Sometimes the order of those things matter. In fact, he started by just naming Connors. He started with Connors.
He said Connor Stroh, and then he was like, well, and Connor Robertson's at center. Mm-hmm. It very much felt like Connor Robertson was a tag-along to Connor Stroh, just the way he seemed to signal out Connor Stroh. And I don't mean anything negative to Connor Robertson. I am reading into my perception of how he answered the question. He did say Connor Robertson, and then at tackle, he mentioned that Jaden Chapman was the guy at tackle. I thought that was the most informative answer that he gave us about the team. And then he said, along with so those are his 8. Mm-hmm. So honestly, everybody else, guys, you could make a case that there's no guarantee that Andre Kojo would have been in that 8. Might have been, maybe. Maybe you include him in that 8 because he's a third-year guy and you don't want to be a third-year guy and not in the 8. That's usually a sign that you're probably on the way out the door. But on the injury front, I think that Texas has been pretty damn lucky, all things considered. No real injury questions outside of Trevor Goosby, who he said, yes, he will play. And then Emmett Mosley is a guy that's been limited, but nothing, no catastrophe. Okay, now, do you know what I think he said today that he didn't say, but I think he said? I think he said subconsciously they think they're the better football team in this game.
Okay.
When you're a road team and you're playing the defending national champions, a lot of time the messaging, I couldn't help, maybe because I'm watching the Netflix doc on the Cowboys. Did you start that?
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. I have not finished it, but maybe I've been watching the Cowboys doc a little bit and I've got Jimmy on the brain. Mm-hmm. But when Jimmy goes to play Washington in 91 and they get the Big Ben and then Aikman gets hurt and Berline comes in and they win that game and they end Washington's undefeated season, you get the You know, if you're going to hit a big old gorilla, you don't hit him lightly. You hit him with everything you've got.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really what Sark's saying coming into this game with this Texas team. In fact, what he's telling us, he's telling the team is, guys, attention to detail, attention to detail, attention to detail.
Yeah.
Don't make the big mistakes. Those are the things you say when you think of yourself as the favorite in a game. Don't do anything to hurt yourself. Don't don't beat yourself. That's the thing you say when you really believe the only way we lose this game is if we do this, if we do that. It did not sound like a coach who's trying to talk his team into being able to make plays to win that kind of game. To me, It sounded like a coach who thinks he's got the better team in this game and they just need to play well. And if they do and don't play sloppy, they'll win this game. And I don't think he said that, but I think he said that.
Even if we don't go that far, clearly the teams are more even in his mind than certainly what Jimmy Johnson was thinking of. Because if we want to go to Jimmy's analogy, this is a big boy gorilla fight. Yeah. This is two big gorillas.
But one team, I think they're looking at Julian saying, we're going to turn that guy over. If we don't turn the ball over and we turn him over, we win this game, period.
But both teams should. Both teams should be thinking that way, Catch. Both teams should be looking at their defense versus this, whatever their quarterback is, and thinking, oh, we got to mess with that guy. This guy doesn't have a ton of experience. He doesn't have, in one case, any starts. In the other case, a couple starts. We got to rattle him, and we feel like we can do that. Both defensive groups have got to be confident they can mess with the other quarterback.
I feel like it's one of these deals where Texas is like, all right, man, if the rest of the teams are a wash and it comes down to the quarterbacks, we really like our chances. And I feel like Ohio State will turn around and say, if we can get the quarterbacks to be a wash, we like our chances with the rest of the roster to be the thing that decides the game. It's an interesting, I don't think either side agrees with the other about the way they view themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But there probably is a very similar message in Columbus this week. Let's establish the run. You and I talked about this last week. I don't believe. And look, for those of the Ohio State fans who are watching this week, look, man, if Ohio State wins on Saturday, come on back on Monday. I promise you, we talk about it. So if you think that somehow we won't spend the next couple of weeks, you seen who Texas has on the schedule? We will relitigate whatever happens on Saturday inside and out.
A lot.
See the way Sark answered the red zone question today? You think he's heard about that a few times?
Maybe.
He's heard about that so much.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
There's no doubt.
I just wish you can't tell. Like maybe everybody in the room was laughing, but it really felt like dead cold silence. And it felt like his eyes were just trying to find one person that thought that landed. And everybody was like, that's funny, Sark, but like score some touchdowns on Saturday.
It landed with me, but it landed with me, but my follow-up would be, it needs to be a little better, doesn't it? And he would have said yes. He would have said it's already been better, and now it needs to get better again. If he goes 14 points up on that stat again this year, nobody beats this team.
Look, the thing is, they're number one in the country. They since signed the number one recruiting class in the country. Yeah. It's been like 8 months. He didn't think it was too soon. You know, the first guy that told that joke to, President Lincoln's wife or widow, the first time that whole theater joke pops up, you think enough time has gone by.
To be fair, Catch, I don't ever imagine anyone actually saying it to her. It's something we say, but let's hope there wasn't someone that actually said that to Mrs. Lincoln.
I think the next.
Come on. I don't think there was that level of sickness.
There's always a guy. There's always one, right? Even in the 1800s.
You think there was an event like 3 months later, she's walking down the street. Hey, other than that, how was the play?
No,
Okay.
that is not what I'm saying.
Too soon? Yeah.
I said Sark thought he was beyond the statute of limitations.
Oh,
I'm saying 4 years later, Mary goes to the theater for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like Mary Poppins or something. I don't know. Whatever. And it's not Hamilton. And
it's not Hamilton. Now we've lost it. All right.
There was somebody there that night that, like, as she walked by, muttered to the guy next to him.
All right. Fair enough. My mistake. I dragged you into that. That was my fault. I see the super chat, and I think it's my man Trey with one of those. We got a couple other comments as well. Let's remind you of things going on.
Better than the last time she went to the theater, I bet.
On this week, like on Friday, we're heading to the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room. I was out there this weekend. Happy birthday to Sherry, man. We had a great time. We're going to have a good time on Friday. If you are listening to us and you are anywhere near the Dirty Drip, you get out there on Friday. We're there 12 to 3. We'll have some barbecue. We'll sip on some vodka, and we'll talk some Texas football one day before they play Ohio State. Come on out and see us at the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room. Chats are coming in. We start with a super chat. I think this is my guy. What's up, Trey? $20. Stoked for game week, boys. Congrats to y'all on the success of the YouTube channel. Wow, 90K plus. Horns must start strong, finish strong this season. Let's go get that championship. Horns win 24-17 on Saturday is Trey's prediction. Yeah, that'd be a heck of a game for the country to watch. Paxton says 27-17 after that press conference. Look at that. Paxton's head coach got him all excited. And then this one catch, Money B, our guy, says Sark's demeanor today also reflected he wants this team to stay loose. No doubt about that. No doubt. It was a very relaxed Sark in a lot of ways. Catch, you kind of mentioned it at the beginning, but, you know, number one team can come. There's a lot of pressure that can come with it. Both Sark and Ryan Day need to project this week. This is what we do. It's what we do. It's who we are. We're blue bloods. In one case, we just won a natty. In the other case, 2 straight, semis, and that we're the only team that can say that. I mean, this week there doesn't need to be any discussions of like, oh my God, how in the world are y'all going to beat that team? And I think both coaches are going to display that, like they're ready to roll.
Yeah, I know sometimes I'm too analytical about anything and everything anyways. So I'm always looking for something to be a data point or, my confirmation bias in wanting to see something, anything. I don't need to necessarily see Sark exude confidence, but I want to read into him. The cliche of you are a reflection of your coach starts from some sort of truth, right? If this was a Harbaugh coach team, we would talk about it in the way that Harbaugh approaches everything, and players are a reflection of their coach. I think you do it with Saban, and we've reached a point where Sarkisian has legitimized himself enough. I don't know. Something about today, Chad, made me feel he looked big time today. That there's still Sark has something to prove, but that he belongs in the conversation and this program belongs. That feels like a conversation that we're beyond. They are the number one ranked team in the country coming into this game. They have been to back-to-back semifinals. I think there's a comfort that he has inside of his skin that I think he would talk about with his players. I think about the leadership question. Somebody asked him, how do you replace the leaders that you've lost? And he rattled off a bunch of names. And then Sark's reply was to rattle off a bunch of names and say, Ant Hill, Michael Taft, Colin Simmons. Like, they just never stop. And I think that that's one of the things that I just think he has the personality for a program like Texas. The dais was a little different than normal. I don't know if it was because of the announcement or if this is the new way that the Monday press conferences are going to roll out, but the setup was a little different. He's wearing black. He's sitting in a chair. The chair's kind of like like see-through, whatever the material is. So it's clear. So you could just see Helm really kind of, I don't know. I don't know that every head coach would have liked to have been able to see their entire bodies on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Sark's was, but he seemed completely comfortable. And Chad and I have watched a lot of press conferences of Texas head coaches over the years where, man, I would have been interested to see the tension and the rest of the body behind a podium that really is a shield that these coaches get to hide behind. And he didn't have that today. And he just was as relaxed as I can remember any head coach of Texas being before first game. It was just very comforting. And I don't know that I was looking to be comforted. That's just the way he made me feel.
Yep. All right, we got a couple chats I want to get to. Somebody asking you an interesting question about Julian Sayin. We'll get some more Catch's thoughts on this. Let's also remind you about the watch party. If you're trying to figure out where to come check out Texas and Ohio State, get out to TCH Social Austin. The game kicks at 11, and we will be getting out there for the watch party. They do have some specials. We talked them into a couple. Check it out. Got food specials this year. How about $8 for 12 wings? All beers, $5 for the Ohio State game. And that is good stuff. They got jellyfish out there, gentlemen and ladies. They have jellyfish. $5 for a pint of jellyfish is a hell of a deal. Plus, they got Stella and a couple other big bad beers. Get out there, check that out. And we got the post-game show for you as well. Live on YouTube. Start piling into that chat at the 2-minute warning. We'll crank it up. Shout out to Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm for helping us out with the post-game show. Cannot wait for Saturday. Catch, unless you had another comment, there's a question for you about Julian Sayin that I think could get us into some more Ohio State talk. You good?
I just wanted to say my first reaction to that graphic was 12 wings for $8 is about as good of a deal on wings as you can possibly get.
Yep. And my wife digs wings, and she's had their wings, and she really enjoyed them.
I mean, it stood out is all I'm saying.
It's a good deal. That's one of those deals I think they said is going to be consistent throughout the year. They've also got a special cocktail. It's like a $4 drink. Ask about that. We'll be mentioning that. I think that one stays all year. And then that beer special, they're going to switch some things out. But that wing special, I think, is going to live all season. So definitely take advantage of it. So, Catch, I'm glad somebody chatted this in because I don't think you've really had a chance to react once we got a reaction. Because when we got into the comments of a YouTube show, some Ohio State fans got into feelings about your comments on Julian Sayin, but you haven't really been on a show since. So here's the chat. Catch, do you still stand by that source telling you that Sayin is a turnover waiting to happen? Some Ohio State fans got into their feelings, Catch. What say you today?
I mean, he's a quarterback making his first career start against maybe the best defense he'll ever face in his entire career. Like, it's the timing's terrible, but you know, we're talking about this Texas defense for those Ohio State fans that haven't completely been in tune with what Texas fans and those that cover the program think that this defense has a chance to be this season. I think there's a general kind of consensus that last year was probably one of the 10 best defenses or so in the history of the program. If not, certainly in the next couple that would be bumping their way into that kind of consideration. I think there's an anticipation that this year's defense will be better despite the losses. And you're really hard pressed to find a 1-2 defensive punch in the country better than Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill. Although maybe it's Anthony Hill and Michael Taft. I mean, Texas has been placing 3 All-Americans on defense, 1 at each level of the defense, pretty consistently on every national All-America team. That's not to say that Ohio State doesn't have their own 1-2 punch in Sykes and Caleb Downs. And it might be that the toughest defense that Arch will see in his entire career could be this one. Although I think Georgia later in the year in Athens will be up there as well. But both of these teams super talented. I think the thing is somewhat true of Arch. These guys they haven't started full seasons as quarterbacks. Now, look, I haven't even talked about my source yet. I'm just talking about, in general, expectations for players. And I actually have a buy or sell question for Chad that we'll get to momentarily at some point here in a little bit that is embedded in this conversation of turnovers at the quarterback position from both teams. There will be a point at some point this season where Arch Manning probably has a 2 or 3 turnover type game. It will happen with Julian Sayin as well. Like, it happens to all of them. Of the two guys, Arch has had a cleaner camp than Julian Sayin has. It's kind of that simple. The person that I talked to, now, look, this was 8 or 9 days ago. So it's, it evolves. Maybe he's had a clean last week of camp. It sounds like they're confident. But through the early portions of camp, he was committing a turnover pretty consistently throughout camp, every practice. Arch hasn't been doing that. Going into this game, considering the defenses they'll be playing against, it's a notable, I think, talking point and discussion going into this game. It's part of the reason why I'm picking Texas to win this game on the road. I mean, I think Julian Sayin's a possible number 1 overall pick in the 2027, 2028 NFL draft. So it's not about his capability. It's about his readiness in this moment, first career start against a defense that might even be better than the one he's playing against in practice every day. It's quite a challenge. I believe that Julian Sayin will turn the ball over at least twice on Saturday. So look, man, Ohio State fans can come back and jump into the Specs chat. They could be there in the postgame show. They could be there on Monday, Tuesday. Like I said, it's a slow September. So y'all may not know this about me, but I promise I will not run from you in the comments. Anything I'm ever wrong on, I will talk about it. That's how I roll.
Yeah, I also get the sense while reading through comments that Ohio State fans either don't trust their media guys when they give them bad news, or they just don't trust them, period. I feel like there's some feelings there between the fan base and the media, but I don't know. We'll see as we move forward. By the way, a 28-13 prediction. Interesting score there from J. Bevo Horn. That'll freak the Ohio State fans out. Real quick, we hope so. Brian Jones has been super busy the last couple weeks. We tried to get him these last couple. He's been filming stuff and doing shows at CBS. We're hoping for this week. Yes, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to him today and see if I can get his week figured out.
This new revamped show, he needs to know. Like, it's basically the Brian Jones show.
I know. Yeah. So we're going to effort Brian Jones pretty hard, no doubt. That's all the super chats right now. If you want to throw in a super chat, we will get that done. We got buy or sell, as Ketch mentioned, coming right up. And as long as Ketch is prepared, it's going to be a reversal because I'm not prepared at all. I've got them, but I just realized a second ago I didn't put them in, and I can't do what Ketch does. I can't put them in while the show's going. I'm not that good. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head.
I have all 5 of mine in because I did the thing that you can't do.
See? Ketch, good student. Me, not so much today.
But you remember when you were like, what's that typing? Was that before the show? What was
that? That was before the show. That was you doing it, right? I literally we got 8 minutes into the show, and I realized, oh, yeah, I didn't do that. I guess I'm just going to have to yell them out. And we will do.
Chad.
Yeah.
I have never felt more in touch and in tune with you than right at this exact moment.
Ketch is like, that's my co-host. That's my co-host. We'll buy or sell right after you hear from AV Consultations. Here we go.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
There are things dorkier than Tom saying smooth reggae, but there aren't many of them. That is a dorky thing to say.
Did you notice that on the one TV, you got look? Well, maybe you did. Did you notice the weather radar on the one TV in the spot?
No.
It looked like it's seen from Twister.
Bad weather coming.
There were 3 TVs, and the one on the far right I was worried for the crew shooting because there had to have been lightning in the area based on the weather map.
That is terrible. We don't want that. Hey, whatever's coming, the weather, football games, make sure you see it well with AV.
That looked like one of those radars they put up in Omaha, like in the College World Series, when it's like, we're in the middle of a weather delay for the next hour and a half. And they put that thing up there, and the whole screen's different colors.
All right, Catch, you want to go first or second with buy or sell?
Well, I'll go first because it'll make sure that you know what not to copy.
There you go.
You know, I like to go second on days.
Fair enough. No, not to be clear. I have them. I have them written down. I do not have them in the system yet. That was the problem.
Way but different than me. Buy or sell number 1. Sark got an A+ from you today at the PC. Calm, cool, confident.
Yeah, I'm buying. I'm trying to think if there's anything I would dock him points for. If anything, I'd go with, get nerdy and say it's an A or it's an A-. But because he was ready with the red zone stat,
you're rewarding him for that.
Yeah, that pushes him into the A+ thing. Honestly, like I really enjoyed the stat, and then nobody had a follow-up that could deal with the stat, so he won that moment. Nobody
is that what happened? He won the moment?
Absolutely. I thought he made his point. I really did. He has constantly said they need to get better, and he just pointed out that over the last couple of years they got better.
Won the moment. Okay, I gotta remember that.
He did.
I'm remembering that the next time I tell a joke that falls so flat that nobody has a response. Scoreboard, bitches.
Hey, he won that moment because that wasn't supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be a moment, and he won the moment because nobody knew what to do.
Okay, Fozzie the Bear. Buy or sell number 2. You agree with Sark that the loser of this game won't be punished by the playoff committee?
Buy. Not only do I think it like he does, I mean, it's now dictated. There are now rules in place that clearly state this. Schedule one of these games, and if you lose it, they're not going to punish you as much. And if you win it, you get even more credit. But yeah, absolutely. The loser of this game, I mean, if it was 58-0, okay, maybe. But as long as we're talking about a normal game, the loser's not going to get ripped for it.
I still can't believe that the loser of the Georgia-Clemson game last year made the playoffs, and the winner of that game did. Well, I guess they did. I guess Georgia won. They just, never mind. That's why I can't believe it. It didn't happen. Buy or sell number 3. Ohio State fans will act like assholes if Texas wins on Saturday.
Buckeyes, I want this to be a sell, but right now I'm buying. I did see a female Ohio State fan Catch jump in the chat, jump in a comment thing in YouTube and talk about after the game, I want people to say that we were nice to Texas fans and that we were accommodating hosts. And I jumped in and said, well, I hope so too, but I've yet to hear about it. I've yet to hear of a Texas fan that went in 05 that has anything good to say about y'all. So I'm hoping you're right, but I got to buy here, Catch. I think this is what this fan base does. And if Texas wins, I think they're going to flip out like they always flip out.
Yeah, man. Buckeye's going to Buckeye. Buy or sell number 4. If I set the over and under of quarterback turnovers on Saturday at 3.5, you like the more?
Oh, I won't go that sloppy. I'll sell that. But I think there's it's 2 or 3. If you'd have said 2.5, it's different. But I'm going to say it's 2 or 3, but it's not 4. I won't go all the way to 4.
I'm not sure what I think about that question, but I might go the more. Buy or sell number 4, or I guess number 5, my last one.
Mm-hmm.
As of today, right this very moment, you like Clemson over LSU.
Oh, God, I love this game so much, Catch. I'm going to buy because it feels like one of those games that's a battle, and I'll give an edge to, the quarterback I like a little more and maybe a lot more, and the home field. So I'll go home Tigers right now in a close one. I can't wait to watch it. It's definitely the game that I want to see outside of Texas, Ohio State this weekend.
Well, there you go. Those are my 5.
All right, Catch, here we go. And again, I'm sorry for not having them in the system. But buy or sell number. Texas loses 2 games. They're both to Georgia, but they win the national title.
Well, bye. That's what I said in my column. I think they go 11-1 the regular season. They lose in Atlanta in the rematch, and then they pull in Ohio State. Although I think because their only losses will be to Georgia and Georgia, I think they'll be seeded 3rd in the playoffs. And they won't see Georgia again in theory until a national championship game. But I think Texas is going to pull in Ohio State in 2024 and run the table once they're in the playoffs. So I've got them going 11-1, 12-2, and then I guess 15-2 when it's all said and done.
Wow, that'd be a wild stat if that's true. If Georgia loses those, or wins those 2 games, but then doesn't win the Natty, that'd be crazy. All right, Catch, buy or sell number 2. You agree with me, outside of Columbus, if I could send you to any game this weekend, free ticket, you're going to the Tiger fight at Clemson. Buy or sell?
Big time buy. Big time buy. I've got family, not family, but I have friends whose families live in that neck of the woods. So I would have people to like go and have a good time with.
Dude.
And they would show me a good time. Yeah, no, I would definitely. That just sounds like a hell of a good time is what that sounds like.
Plus the fan bases, the coaches, the quarterbacks, the drama, the soap opera, the issues, just everything that game's going to build up to. You talk about a losing fan base that will be losing their minds on Saturday night. Whoever loses that game is going to flip out and want to fire their coach. It's going to happen. Like, get ready for the insane version of those fans. All right, Catch, buy or sell number 3. You think Quinn Ewers makes a roster? You think Sam Ehlinger makes the practice squad? Buy or sell?
Buy. I think that, I think because the Dolphins are the Dolphins, I think they're going to have to take 3 because you just can't not have 3 if Tua is your quarterback. Quinn's numbers on Saturday. Did you watch the preseason game, by the way?
I did not get a chance to see him on Saturday. I saw the numbers and saw your breakdown and a little bit of highlights, but I didn't see it live.
Whenever he gets the ball out quickly,
he's pretty good,
pretty accurate, and like his stats were good. It's funny, they had him on one of the sacks he took. I think it might have even been a 7-step. So as he was dropping back, I remember like, oh, this is a deep drop. And I immediately wondered, is it like, one of those things you think in a millisecond as a play is occurring? I literally watched him in the middle of a deep drop and thought, oh, can he get the ball out or is he going to get sacked? And he took a sack. And, I think that he's done enough to earn a roster spot, which is all that matters ultimately. That's the bottom line. Make the roster. I think, what was interesting? There was 20 seconds to go in the game. Jacksonville had a timeout, and Miami had the ball inside the Jacksonville 20-yard line. And Miami ran a run play, and Jacksonville doesn't call a timeout. And Miami got up to the line and threw the ball twice up on the scoreboard.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it made me think that was the surest sign that he's going to make the team. Because that looked to me like something that you would do when you're going to keep a guy, but you don't plan on playing him. So go ahead and get 2 extra attempts on film, have it on film, something that you'll have some confidence that you can build on because you don't think he's taken another snap that matters beyond the last 2 he took in that game. I think it tells us about how they'll treat him. If there's an injury, they will sign somebody. They will not just elevate him up the depth chart, I don't think. But they think enough of him to do that with him. And I think it's a win for Quinn. I thought if you think about that intellectually, how that situation was handled, all it means is they really like him a lot. And they wanted the preseason with him to end with him making a couple of easy throws, 4 completions. If they turn into touchdowns, great. But we're going to let him walk out of here like 7 of 8 for almost 100 yards. And it's going to feel like a victory for him, even though they didn't score any points in any of the drives that he was in on. Like, it was modest success, but the numbers look good. So, yeah, I thought I thought it let us in a little bit of maybe the way they think about him.
Catch, let me sneak in this super chat since it is a buy or sell. Thank you, Tej. $4.99. Buy or sell. Arch will have 2 rushing touchdowns. I'm assuming that means this week. Buy or sell.
Buy this season.
I was going to say, let's make it this week and make it tougher.
I mean, I think Prize Picks would probably set that at 0.5. And I would say find a better wager. It could happen. It could.
But 2?
2? We both.
2? Come on now.
Hey, that does not mean show up next Monday if he scores 2 and let us have it. Like, it could happen. That's just will have. Like, I had a prediction in 2019 that I look back on this week. Did you see that, Chad? Texas going to win the Big 12. Write it in ink.
Yeah.
You know who I thought of? Chad, this is how long you and I have been doing a show together.
Mm-hmm.
I read my own words. Write it in ink. What did I think of? Who did I think of?
You were thinking Jimmy Johnson and the 3-inch letters, or who was write it in ink? No, Jimmy Johnson was 3-inch letters. Who was right? Oh,
no,
wait.
But I'm thinking about what was I?
Oh, you were emphatic. You were, yeah.
And if you're emphatic,
got to be careful. Be careful when you're emphatic. Got to be careful. Yep.
I read that, and that's all I could think of was Ocean's 11.
Tej, thank you very much for that. All right, Catch, my last 2 buy or sells. Buy or sell, Tom Skerritt, the actor, is 92 years old today. You can tell me his call sign in Top Gun.
Oh,
Ooh, I think it might be there. I think it's in there.
Oh, man.
I think I can see it.
Is it Viper?
Well done. Well done. Excellent. Yes, that's a buy. It's Viper, kids. Happy 92.
He's a good 92, man.
He could still kick all of our asses at 92.
We should all be Tom Skerritt at 92.
Yeah, let's go from there to a good 38. Blake Lively is 38 today. Catch, prime on prime. Blake Lively is hotter than Sandra Bullock.
Bye. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Blake. Another super chat coming. Brian, I see it. First, we're going to let you hear from Specs, and here's Lisa.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Specs. Shop Specs! With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here. Shop Specs!
You know there's going to be some beer pong around this game. Brian with a 199. Hope Wingo has a breakout game to jump the season. Catch, you made a comment about Wingo. I think it was in your buy or sell in your 10 thoughts, right? Where somebody was talking about Wingo having a big game, and you thought that was pretty important for Texas.
They can't win without it. They really can't. Like, I think that.
Like, what does it need to be for you? Is it a yard thing? Is it a touchdown? Like, what's the mark in your head you're looking for?
I mean, I think he will have to play a imperative part in 2 touchdown drives on offense.
Okay. Couple huge plays.
Something either sets up, he's got to be, I think, 5 for 100. I think he's going to have to represent a big chunk of the passing offense. You start thinking about, well, look, you tell me if I give Wingo 100, what are you giving DeAndre Moore? Like 60, 70, something like that?
I was going to say 65.
What are you giving Livingstone?
Yeah, like 40?
Maybe that.
Maybe 30.
So now we're at like 200 with those.
40.
I don't know that those 3 guys. Ohio State is so. If Texas gets 200 yards from those 3 guys, Texas wins the game.
That feels like a win. Yeah.
But I think it.
But this game is going to get. I think this game's going to get so compacted with yards. Like, I keep going back to that famous Georgia Clemson game that started the year a few years ago, where Georgia won it with 256 total. So, like,
I agree with you. I'm
one of those deals.
I think this game plays fast. I think both teams are going to want to run the football and will try to be committed to the football. And look, both teams may have morsels of success of running the football. But what do we know about the Texas offense from what Sark told us? They'd get started. They'd have a little bit of success. they'd stub their toe, they'd break down.
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty similar at Ohio State. You know, I don't think either of these teams are breaking off 40-yard runs. I think they're nickel and diming it down the field, but then they're not able to sustain that nickel and dimes against really good defenses. Before the really good defenses, you know, it's like the Empire Strikes Back constantly. They really are competing against Darth Vader's. Like every time you land a blow, they land one back. And it's hard to get sustained drives for either offense in a scenario where you do 3 or 4 good plays in a row, and then their good play nullifies everything that you just did. That's how defense works. You're just trying to convert first downs, and they're trying to create something that makes you punt or worse. And I think this game's gonna. I don't think both of these two teams score in the 20s. And so if Texas can get 2 offensive touchdowns in this game, I think Wingo's probably had a couple of big plays on both of the drives that lead to those points. And I think if you tell me that Ohio State does to him that what Texas did to Jeremiah Smith a year ago, unlike Ohio State a year ago, I don't think Texas would be able to overcome that.
If you guys want to throw us a super chat, go ahead, or maybe predictions. So we've had a few of those thrown in. Here's a 24-10 Texas prediction. That would piss off some people in Columbus. I got something that jumped out about Sark to me. We will get to that. Got a couple more of our great partners to thank here. Let me mention Sinus and Snoring Specialist to start the week real quick. It is so simple because it's about your sleep. It's about how you feel. It's about how you're resting. And if you're like my wife and you got to get up super early every morning, that's important. If you're out there working a double every day, that's critical. If you're working the overnights, that's a big deal. Maybe you got kids starting college like mine is right now. Sleep's important. My kids got an 8 a.m. every day of the week almost. You got to be able to get up. You got to be rested. If you're going through something, get it taken care of, especially if you're like me and you're up into your 50s now and the body's just starting to tell you that. Call them, go to the website, find out what they can do for you. SinusSnoringENT.com or call 601-0303. Feel clear, rested, and healthy with Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Make sure you're breathing right. Also, you got to get up for 11 a.m. kicks. Did I mention that? It's an 11 a.m. kick in Columbus. You do not want to miss Lee Corso's last headgear. You do not want to miss all the Fox stuff that's going on, and you certainly don't want to miss us out at TCH Social Austin. Come on out and see us. Catch one of the other stats. You know I love the red zone stat from Sark. Here's the other stat I liked. 9 starters played in the semifinal game that are coming back, and I think he said 30 players total are coming back that played in that game. I don't know what Ohio State's number is, but that would give me a lot of confidence as a fan going back into this thing. He talked about the fun that this team is to be around, how much they have fun while still working and being physical and doing what they need to do. This felt like a loose coach today in a good way, felt like a confident coach. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see. Go to Columbus and catch. You remember what happened 20 years ago when a really confident Longhorn team went to Columbus. They got it done. And I'm with you. I think this group's going to get it done too.
Yeah, it feels like the first time in this era, I think the Texas views itself as the team in this game or in one of these games. I think in last year's game, it felt like Ohio State. And look, maybe it's as simple as the quarterback thing, and nobody wants to say it, but there's something about Texas playing in these games in previous seasons. And I really think more about just last year more than anything else, both when they played Georgia twice and when they played Ohio State. It felt like Texas was playing Georgia and Ohio State as opposed to those teams were playing Texas. And I think in a weird way, I think Sarkisian seemed to be telling us that what he was telling his team was, guys, we're so talented and good, it no longer matters about the other guys. It matters about us. It matters about pre-snap penalties, attention to detail, level of sloppiness. If we are specialists at attention to detail, we won't lose. And I think that's a different message. I don't know that the team completely would have bought that a year ago. But I think he seems to indicate that he has a team that is buying his message. I think they exude that confidence. I think there were times they had it last year. And you'll probably see a team that went to Ann Arbor last year with a lot of like outward moxie. I think they will go in to Columbus with that level of moxie. It'll be interesting to see if Ohio State can slap that out of their mouths in the first 5 minutes of that game, because it felt like in the first quarter in Ann Arbor, Texas really spread their wings a little bit. I think we saw it in the Alabama game the year before that there's, Texas is a great front runner, land a big blow early. We're in this game. Let's go. That's who they've been in these big matchups. They typically land haymakers early. And I think if Ohio State's going to win this game, it can't let Texas jump ahead.
Well,
I don't think either of these two teams wants to play behind, but I think Texas is probably better poised to come back from 10-0 than maybe the team with his quarterback literally making his first career start. That's difficult.
This fan base is interesting. I was thinking about those two games as well. Those two fan bases, Bama and Michigan. Michigan's rep is they'll just get quiet. Bama's rep is they're really entitled. They're kind of like Texas fans. They're really entitled, and they'll just murmur. Ohio State's rep is different. They'll rip the stadium apart and throw it at their team. Like, if you can get 10-0, 13-0.
They just won the national championship.
They did, but they also, after losing the fourth straight to their rival, threatened their coach, his wife, and his children. That's a real thing. They threatened the lives of the children, of the wife of the coach, and messed with the kids at school. Like, that's who they are. So you give them a chance to be that if you go up 14-0 quick. That group's going to want to grumble.
I don't think that's going to happen, but man, 7-0 early on in that game, if you're Texas, just steers the whole train the entire night.
It is what you want to do. All right, we got a couple of super chats before we get out of here. Thank you, Paul, for this one. Wait a minute. We may have clicked at the same time. There it is. $4.99. One, buy or sell winning team will not end the game with taking a knee. Example, the game ends on an interception. I'll buy that one. I'll say this game does not end with someone taking a knee.
Sell. I'll take the knee. Or buy. I'll take the knee.
Okay. And then two, prime on prime, Blake Lively, hotter than Jessica Biel.
No, now we're moving into a different weight class than Sandy. So no offense, but I'm going to take Jessica Biel.
Paul's going, Cat's going Jessica Biel there. Paul, thank you for that. I think that's probably the right choice. Then JM here, $2. Ann Arbor Part 2. You hope so. you hope so, JM. That's what you want this game to feel like. If it feels like that one, Ohio State fans really are going to freak out. Real quick answer to this question. We'll shoot for Thursday on Brian, but I'll double check today and see what day he wants to come on the show.
All right, we got to wrap it up, Chad. We got Liverpool playing in an hour. My head's going.
Fair enough. All right, right before we do that, let me remind you real quick about Hayes City Store. I'm going to get to see the kid. She started college. We're going to go meet her at Hayes City. And I think, seriously, I'm having two of these three things. If they have Brussels sprouts and that pork chop, I think that's where I'm going. Grilled, blackened, or chicken fried. The onion rings are incredible. It's all good out in Driftwood. FM 150. Tell them we sent you. Travis, Tamara, and the crew are waiting on you at Hayes City Store. We had a fan in the chat say they wanted it to be their last meal on death row, that pork chop. I can't really say more than that. All right. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. Best of luck to Liverpool, because apparently they're about to play. Y'all have a great week. Check out all the great content. We're going to throw all kinds of stuff at you here on Orange Bloods Live. See ya.